What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy, Niner Gang Podcast, back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, man, let's get right on into it. So we have got some things going on, man, all around the league, all around with the 49ers. I know that I haven't been around for a little bit. What's going on, D Sizzle? So I know I haven't been around for a little bit, but I will be back. Got to do a little bit of film study on the combine and take a look at some things. Hey, what's going on, Andy? We've had some stuff go on, man. We've had some D linemen and sub 5, 40s. We had a lot of things going on, man, but we're going to stick to us for tonight and make sure that we get it better. So, first thing for us, man, is we have had a lot of turnover in our coaching area. So, there have been so many people that have left, but we've got everything filled up now. So, let's go ahead and go over it. So, Steven Adegoke is our defensive quality control. James Craig is the assistant offensive line coach. Brian Fleury is now our tight ends coach. Chris Forrester, offensive line run game coordinator. Joe Graves, assistant offensive line coach. Brian Greasy is now our quarterbacks coach. So instead of them bringing in John Beck, who's been working with Trey Lance on a consistent basis, they brought in Brian Greasy. Now, the question about that hire, as far as him being the quarterbacks coach, is the fact that we have to figure out what's going on as far as how he's going to be coaching him, because Brian Greasy was your typical average, everyday, stand in the pocket type quarterback. He was not by any stretch of the imagination, a mobile quarterback or anything like that. So it's kind of confusing to me how you brought in a dude who doesn't necessarily fit what Trey does to teach him how to be a QB. But I think they're more so looking to try to keep him in the pocket as much as possible and only have him run when needed. So I can kind of understand that. Not so much a negative thing. What's going on, Matt? So we can definitely take a look at things and see what we got here. So, Matt, you off the chain, man. Hopefully Brian Greasy is the right coach for him. He helps him develop properly, and they're able to use him in the way that he is intended to be used. Because the thing is you don't want Trey to just consistently be that stand in the pocket type QB. You want him to use his mobility and athleticism to the max. You don't want him running on every down, but every now and then, instead of standing in the pocket, hey, man, look, sometimes you just got to take off and go. And give him that leeway, give him that slack to be able to do so. So the other guys that we have that are coming on, Leonard Hankerson, ex-wide receiver in the NFL, is now our wide receivers coach, as Wes Welker left and went with Mike McDaniel over to Miami. Clay Kubiak is our assistant quarterbacks coach. I'm assuming he's probably Gary Kubiak's son. Kubiak and Shanahan have ties from way back in the day. He kind of learned a lot from him, along with learning from his pops, obviously. Anthony Lynn is our assistant head coach / running backs coach. Looks like Asani Rufus is the offensive quality control. Brian Snyder is the special teams coordinator. Deuce Schwartz is now offensive quality control. Bobby Slowick, offensive passing game coordinator. And Nick Sorensen is a defensive assistant. So all of these guys have come into play and come into the fold for the San Francisco 49ers. We did need to rebuild our coaching staff after everybody and their mother left, man. I mean, we've had so many people get hired at so many different places. It started speculation that people were leaving because of Trey, which definitely is not true. That's more than obvious. But, the media's got to put something out there. They've got to get clickbait. They've got to get likes. They've got to get views. The attention has to be on them. So you have people creating these stupid narratives, that, everybody left because they moved on to Trey and blah, blah, blah. If that was the case, then why did y'all motherfuckers leave when we drafted Trey? Everybody knew we were moving on from Jimmy. What's happening, Roy boy? He said you need sleep. Fuck it, it's overrated. So here's the thing. The narrative that's being painted around the league about Trey isn't ready, everybody left because of Trey and this, that, and the third. You know, people really are just trying and grabbing at straws to say anything and put the kid down. I don't understand why. You know, a couple people, asked me, hey, straight up, man, do you feel like it's, the fact that he's black? I mean, they shit on black quarterbacks on a consistent basis. Anytime we're coming out of college, we're never finished product. We're always projects. You're going to have to work with them on this and work with them on that. We don't know how long he's going to last. If he's a running quarterback, they give us everything under the sun, man. And they just call us athletes. They can't even give you the respect that you deserve as a quarterback just because they automatically think that that's what, that's the case. Joey, he says Seattle rebuild having faster than Jimmy could throw an out route. Yeah, we all know Jimmy can throw no goddamn out route. But that's the thing. So the narrative was painted that Trey isn't ready and that everybody was leaving because of him. Here's my thing with that. Okay. You can't tell me that the kid ain't ready because they wouldn't have drafted him if they didn't think he could get ready. He had the playbook down before anything. He had everything else going for him. So I don't understand where this, the playbook and all this other stuff. I don't understand where any of it comes from. To me, like I said, it's all clickbait. That's basically what it is. It's clickbait. People are bitching and complaining. They just want everything for themselves. So I don't understand any of it. Me personally, I'll tell you this. The kid's ready. Just put him in and get Jimmy the fuck out of here. Because at the end of the day, we can move on to that situation now that we got through the coaching hires and a little bit of Trey. See, man, a lot of people will malign you and get upset with you. They don't want to rock with you on your opinions when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's fine because it doesn't bother me. It's water off a duck's back. You say what the fuck you want to me, man. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm from the 80s. I don't worry about what people say to me. This has nothing, like what you say to me ain't about to ruin my day. I'm sorry. I'm not weak-willed. I'm not weak-minded. And you're not about to bait me into doing something or feeling bad about myself because you said something negative about me. That I don't pay enough attention to you. Here's the thing. Jimmy Garoppolo was lauded all year long for doing what? Being the consummate professional. And he was great and he handled this situation oh so well. Magically, this motherfucker want to come out after the season to say, oh, I got to have surgery. Here's the thing. There's blame on Jimmy, but I also blame Kyle and John. And here's why. There's blame on Jimmy because he knew he had to have shoulder surgery. He knew what the fuck was going on. He understands his body. Any human being knows their body better than the next motherfucker. That's how that works because you're in your own body. So you know if you can go, you know if you're healthy, you know if shit's wrong, you know if shit's right. This is the whole point of it. But here's the thing. Jimmy and his agent, from my perspective, they were in cahoots with the shit. They were like, oh, you motherfuckers want to move on from us? Man, fuck this. Let's screw that whole shit up. Now, mind you, he had the surgery today. Everyone says it was successful. He says he's supposed to be ready to go before training camp. The surgery technically states that he's supposed to be out 16 weeks and he won't throw for any of those 16. It's all rehab. So, okay, you want to do your rehab? Cool. Like, I get that. You have to. You had surgery. Surgery is not a cure-all, but it helps. But here's my thing. John and Kyle had to know about this shit. They put him out there with the fucked up thumb. And for me, it's a situation where I look at it and I go, you forced him on the field and shoved him down our throats week in and week out. You had to have him out there. Yet in the playoffs, he didn't do anything for you. He did a little something, but he never does enough. So here's what I'll say to the reason I blame Kyle and John is because they knew about these injuries. They knew about this shit, man. Come on. Ain't nobody going to tell me they didn't know this shit. And we still have other pressing needs on this team. The number one thing right now is getting Jimmy off the books. And that's a $26 million cap hit, man. Ain't nobody trying to pay him $26 million, not to be a fucking backup. It's a $1.4 million dead cap hit if we cut this motherfucker. I know they're going to try to get something for him in return. So several things happened today that's going to help Jimmy Garoppolo stock. Aaron Rodgers stayed put. Though he came out in a tweet and said that the numbers were a little bit off. I believe it was Tom Pelissero that said he signed a 4-year, $200 million contract. That's $50 million a year. So he proverbially fucked the Packers. And they franchise tagged Davante Adams. Here's the main issue with that. You paying a man $50 million a year. Cap didn't went up. Cap is now, I believe, roughly around $208 million, something like that. I have to look at it. But you pay him $50. Davante Adams already said he want money. You got to break bread, baby. He wants to stay in Green Bay. He don't want to go nowhere because Aaron is still there. Had Aaron left, I guarantee you, Davante Adams would have held out. So now you look at it, you go, okay, I got Aaron locked up. Cool. He's staying. He ain't going nowhere. Don't have to worry about moving on Jordan Love. Jordan Love ain't shit any fucking way. You seen how trashy he looked when they came in the game. So the next thing you got is I got to pay Davante Adams. Davante is going to want anywhere from $20 to $25 million a year. So now you at $75 million. You know what happens when you have too much money invested in specific players? You wind up losing. Tom Brady is the most grossly underpaid quarterback in the league ever because he knew he had to take pay cuts because he needed help around him to be able to get to those 7 fucking rings. The only time he didn't take a pay cut, I think, was just this past year when he was playing for the Bucks. So I get it, And, yeah, we passed on Tom. And, we know what happened. And, this year we wound up getting to the NFC Championship game. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, for me, it's just you're going to cut a lot of players. There's going to be so many cap casualties in Green Bay. So it's going to be stupid. Like this put Aaron Rodgers in a situation where you can no longer complain. You can't bitch and cry about it. You don't have no help around you when you're sucking up all the fucking cap space. Don't be mad when you can't pay the next motherfucker because you got too much money in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the guys in cap hell, I'm definitely going to be doing a couple of shows on that. Just going over some of the teams that are just in fucking purgatory and they've got to be able to move some money to be able to get some shit. For us, there's 2 contracts that we could get off our books and it would make our lives that much easier. There's Jimmy Garoppolo and there's Dee Ford. Dee Ford's going to have to be cut. Nobody's trading for him. He too injury prone. That motherfucker didn't even play last year. You can forget it. But Jimmy Garoppolo's got to go. So I'm looking at the cap space, and here's the number one thing here. So Jimmy Garoppolo, if we look at him, if we cut him, it's a dead cap hit of $1.4 million. That's literally exactly what it would be. If we cut Dee Ford, they're saying it's a dead cap hit of $14 million. I don't believe that's correct. I think that's incorrect. I know that's not right at all. But looking at the space we got right now, we have looks like about $5 million in dead cap. That's going to Weston Richburg, Laken Tomlinson. We're still even paying Jalen Hurts worthless ass. Colton McKivitz got a little bit of money. Justin Hilliard, Elijah Sullivan, Austin Watkins, Josh Peterson. So there's a couple people that we paying, and the bulk of that cap hit comes from Richburg and Tomlinson. So the number one thing that we want to be looking at is knowing the numbers and figures and what we got. Total cap space right now is $2,952.32. If we are to cut Dee Ford and we are to cut Jimmy Garoppolo, that cap alone would rise to probably, I want to say, roughly anywhere around 30 million, somewhere in that area. So give me 1 second here. So I'm going to see where we at. So the new cap space is $208 million, 208 million point two, 208.2 million. And that's up 25.7 million from the previous year. So we get the extra space, and that's cool. That's nice. But the thing is all the money already spent. So, we at 206,800,000, you know what I'm saying, and $213. 206,806,213. Like, that's literally where we're at. So we're on the cusp of just being in cap hell ourselves. This is the reason why I know that Jimmy has to be moved, because if he stays, they're going to have to restructure that damn contract. There's no way in hell you keep him at that rate. It just doesn't make sense. And plus, you had Trey Lance, so why would you not want to go ahead and move on to the kid? You've given him a year to sit, albeit he sat behind Jimmy Garoppolo, so I doubt there's much he could have fucking learned. But nonetheless, he did. So for me, I'm looking at it like this. With the guys that we need to bring back, I picked 7 guys, and I did a free agency special not too long ago on all the guys that are leaving and staying, and I told everybody I had about 7 dudes that we needed to bring back, and some guys aren't there. Number one person that we need to bring back is Laken Tomlinson, because we're not going to find another left guard that's going to do what he does for us and what he's done for us. And yes, he might fetch a lot of money on the open market. I don't see us using the franchise tag on anyone. I definitely don't think that we did, as far as that stuff is concerned, because it's not common, in the 49er world, so to speak. Give me 1 second. I want to take a look to see who's been franchise tagged so far. And there's another spot I can take a look at and see what's going on, but we don't really franchise tag players. It's nothing new. We usually try to keep that on the low. We don't really push people into that. So basically, let's take a look at some of the guys. Chris Godwin, franchise tag for the Buccaneers. Next guy, Jaguars, franchise tagged an offensive tackle, Cam Robinson. Devontae Adams, franchise tag. Dalton Schultz from the Cowboys, tight end, franchise tag. Orlando Brown, offensive tackle, franchise tag from the Kansas City Chiefs. Jesse Bates, the free safety for the Bengals, franchise. David Njoku, Mike Gesicki, 2 tight ends. Harold Landry, Tennessee linebacker. J.C. Jackson. So we're screwed on that one. We definitely didn't expect him to have that tag, but it is what it is. So that's all we can really do. So good news for our division is the fact that we now are rid of Russell Wilson. He is gone. Thank God. I am happy. Here's the only thing. There's a caveat, and it's the same kind of caveat we had with Jimmy to an extent. The difference with Jimmy is his no trade clause winds up being waived after, the new league year starts. We don't have to. Now we can send him wherever the fuck we want to without him bitching and complaining about it. We were supposed to do right by him, but he didn't do right by us with the stupid ass shoulder surgery. The thing is a trade usually can't be finalized until someone can take a physical. So if they're happy with his progress, they're happy with where he is at, whatever team that may be, then we can still trade him and the trade will go through as long as they're accepting of it. I know there's a loophole in the system where it doesn't, you can basically still be traded while you're injured. And we don't want to pay him that $7 million injury guarantee. Like, there's a lot that goes on with that. Matt is saying that the Seahawks could, what? The Seahawks cut Bobby Wagner. That was the last piece to the Legion of Boom. Well, I mean, they're the Seahawks are rebuilding anyway because there's no way you just let go of your franchise quarterback and gave him to Denver for an absolute haul. But here's the problem. Russell has no trade clause. He can say, I don't want to go to Denver. Although that was one of the teams that was on his list per, several different reporters. So as long as he agrees to the trade, come March 15th, that dude is a Denver Bronco. So it gets real weird and real sticky about it. But I can tell you right now, Seattle fans are just probably crying their eyes out because the only thing you got in the trade, honestly, was Drew Lock. I believe they got 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders. Seattle sent Russell Wilson in the 4th. So no, I doubt the Seahawks could get Watson. So that was Vish. Shout out to Vish. He does Greg Cole does Mondays with Vish and everything like that. Cool dude. Here's the thing. I don't think that they're going after Deshaun Watson. And the reason being is because people still don't want to touch Deshaun Watson right now. I know nothing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. No, there's been nothing against him. There's been no legal, no court dates, no nothing. Nobody has said anything. I've heard nothing about this situation literally since maybe a week or two after the inception of all the things that were supposed to be coming out. I ain't heard nothing from the women. I ain't heard nothing from nobody's lawyer. I ain't seen nothing in the news. Nobody. He's never been suspended by the NFL. He wasn't suspended last year. Like all of these things that normally would happen in cases like this, they don't happen. So it's confusing to me why Deshaun Watson hasn't been traded for. Of course, you're going to have to give up the farm for the guy. They're not going to give him up easily. But at the end of the day, there's nothing holding the kid back from hitting the field. Unless the NFL decides, hey, the minute you hit the field, we're going to suspend you, then that's fine. The thing is that there's been players that have not even, hit the field and still been suspended and been told, hey, you're going to miss 6 games. Calvin Ridley, a ban for a year for betting on games. Man made $1,500 funky ass dollars, and it took away a whole year's worth of salary. And that sucks, man, because at the bare minimum, you just got to be smarter than the average bear. You find someone you can truthfully trust, get their ass some money and let these fools bet. And they get you funds and make sure they keep their mouth shut. There's ways to do things, man. He just obviously wasn't privy to this shit. What's good, Eddie? Eddie Glover says, what up, D? It's officially the end of the Seahawks. They're going to be the bottom of the division where they belong. That is true. I believe the bottom of our division is probably going to wind up being the Seahawks and the Cardinals. The reason I believe with the Cardinals is Kyler Murray ain't no leader. Lots of people on the team have said that. They supposedly have squashed all their beefs and everything like that. I don't believe that. Kyler want money. He probably going to try to get him some Aaron Rodgers money. But here's the difference. You can't get Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes type bread without being that guy. Mind you, Aaron Rodgers is ass in the playoffs. He's only won 1 fucking Super Bowl, and he definitely don't ever want to see us in the playoffs because we kick his ass every fucking time. So him staying in Green Bay, that's fine. I know Green Bay fans are happy. They are just elated to know that their guy is staying put. Seattle fans are most likely crying, and it makes me very happy. I feel butterflies in my stomach as it was the first time I saw my wife. And what are they going to do? Because I can tell you right now, Drew Lock is going to be throwing to Lockett and Metcalf. That's nice. But that offensive line is still trash. Like, there's a variety of things that you have to do, and you got to rebuild that thing. You cannot bring – like, my thing is to say they do try to trade for Deshaun Watson. Do you really think he wants to go there and deal with all the bullshit and then deal with another shitty-ass O-line? He's had a shitty O-line since he came in. Hey, what's going on, Sin? He's had a shitty O-line since he came into the league. He's never had something stout enough to a point where he could really just stand back there and deliver the ball. I mean, he's extremely elusive. But the unfortunate thing about it is, like I said, nobody wants to touch him. And I just still don't understand why. There's the only thing that's stopping Deshaun Watson from moving is Nick Caserio, the GM for the Houston Texans. I guarantee you there have been phone calls to that franchise about Deshaun Watson, and I guarantee you people have been offering them everything they could think of. Outside of the most outrageous trade in the world, which was the New Orleans Saints giving up, I think, their whole fucking draft for Ricky Williams, Deshaun Watson is going to bring in a big haul. You're going to possibly get a few players, and you're going to definitely at least get several draft picks. I'm probably saying you definitely getting at least 2 first-rounders at a bare minimum. I don't think you call the Texans if you can't offer that much. So us going after him, we're never going to be in that boat. We could offer Trey Lance as one of the first-round picks, but I don't see it happening. I don't want to move off of Trey Lance. I'd rather stick with the kid. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be an amazing quarterback, and I have no reason to believe otherwise. Outside of the bullshit that's coming through these media people's teeth, I could give a damn about it. I'm not that guy. I love my quarterback. I think he's going to be great. So Eddie Glover says it seems like the same story for the Cards every year. Start hot and then fizzle out. It's hard for those huge players to follow a munchkin who gets hurt that does childish crap like unfollowing. This is true. And see, what I would say all year is it's hard for our defensive guys to go out and ball out and do what the fuck they're supposed to do and continue to give Jimmy Garoppolo the ball back and watch him go out there and continually fucking fail. And that's my thing. Like, when we win, it's not always him. And there are times, yes, where he has brought us a win. There are times where he's done things. But I can tell you right now, somebody said it not too long ago. Somebody had basically said if you take away Yak, quarterback stats would not be anywhere near as gaudy. It's very true. That's probably the case for some quarterbacks, not all. Some guys can deliver that rock, and they put that motherfucker in places where only the receiver can get to it. Some guys, they depend on their guys to get Yak. This system that we currently have that Kyle has constructed is it's predicated off of Yak. You get yards after catch, you do the things you're supposed to do, you make it happen. I don't want anything to do with Bobby Wagner. I like him, but I have Fred Warner. I have no need for Bobby Wagner, honestly. He's, this is cool. So, tell you right now, Matt, Fred Warner is the best linebacker there, but Isaiah Simmons is on his ass. That kid's coming along. So the number one reason that we got to get this money moving is because we can't hit anything in free agency if we don't move this money. So by the time free agency hits, we need to be having guys beating down our door to come in and play for the franchise. But we've got to get this motherfucker out the door, him and D Ford. And if they wait on D Ford again and allow him to fuck off our money, this is just another dumb move by the franchise. I know a lot of people choose to trust Kyle or trust John, but they're suspect-ass moves because you see certain things and you don't understand why the shit happens. Why is D Ford still on this team? That man had one good year. It was 2019. And he barely played all of those games. He didn't play it. I mean, he didn't even play at all last year. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care what you bring to me on the field and how dynamic you are if you're never on the fucking field. It was the same thing with anybody else. Jalen Hurd, we waited years for Kentavious Street. A while back, we did that with Tank Carradine. We have this knack. We just did it with Jason Verrett. We have this knack for having guys that are injury prone, and we continue to bring them back. For what? Because they're cheap? Stop being cheap. Sometimes if you want the best, you got to pay for the shit. What's going on, Terradome? You got to pay for the shit, man. At the end of the day, that's like going to McDonald's and expecting Pappadeaux's level of food. It's not going to happen. You can't. There's no way to compare it. Like, you're never going to be able to do that. So if you want the best, sometimes you just got to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? People look at me like, man, you shop at Trader Joe's? Yes. It's better food, better quality, organic. I want to eat to live, not eat to die. You know, I try to lay off of processed foods, a variety of things. When it comes to the league, you got to pay for the talent. If guys hit the market, you got to have the bread to throw at them so they want to come, along with selling them a story that will be able to entice them to come and play for us. See, we have a story franchise already. That's not the problem. Our history, the lore of the 49ers is not the issue. Right now, it's the money. Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers were mentioned a ridiculous amount of times at the combine, along with the fact that it's rumored that the Saints are interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. And I heard so much George Kittle, so much Deebo Samuel, all of that stuff. Shout out to Jason Aponte. He was at the combine. He's doing big things, man. Nothing but congratulations for that man on what he's doing and how he's moving, man. He is doing amazing things. I know he probably doesn't watch my podcast very often, but if you do catch this one, man, Jason, I'm very proud of you, bro. Keep doing your thing. Continue to excel and be great. You know, Terradome says, no doubt Rams got their sugar honey iced tea together. Somebody is committed and somebody is invested. That's the truth of it. At the end of the day, man, you got to be able to put things together and be smart about it. And you got to go for the gusto. The Rams did that year in and year out until they got what they wanted. So Sean McVay and Les Snead, kudos to y'all, man. You kept spending money and kept giving up draft picks, and I don't think they got a first-round draft pick till like 2029. But at the end of the day, it all paid off because you have what you were seeking. You got the Super Bowl ring. At the end of the day, every team in the league, I don't care whether you're the Detroit Lions or the Rams that just came off of a Super Bowl, your goal is a Super Bowl. Your goal should be nothing less than a Super Bowl. Even if you are in the rebuilding process, your message to your team needs to be, there should be a Lombardi trophy in our case at the end of this goddamn year. And we better go out there and work hard to figure out how to get that motherfucker. We're not going to win every game, goddammit, but we need to win enough to get into the playoffs, kick some ass, take some names, and go ahead and make sure that we put a Lombardi in our trophy case at the end of the year. That should be every franchise's idea, period. Doesn't matter how much you sucked last year, the year before that, or how long you've been in purgatory. You should still have the drive, the will, the want, and the need to get a Super Bowl trophy into your case. We currently have 5. I would like 5 more. And I can tell you right now, for the rest of this decade, from 2022 on, I guarantee you we get at least 2 to 3 with Trey. At a minimum 2 to 3. All we have to do is continue to keep putting good pieces around the kid, get good players, make sure we got dudes that be able to do their job and keep pushing right, and we're going to be fine, man. You know what I mean? He said, Matt said, so technically Jimmy ain't the worst QB in the division anymore for now. I mean, he's still third best because Kyler's better than him. And we all know Matt Stafford's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, even though Matt Stafford still does boneheaded shit and throws picks at the wrong time. It is what it is. He got a fucking ring. The only thing I can say is nobody was at that fucking parade. That was the most pathetic shit I've ever seen in my life. I mean, and what's going on, Cook and Smoke Sports? Terradome says, here's the deal. An all-pro is a commodity like gold or oil. A draft choice is like a scratch-off lottery ticket. It could hit, but see, Terradome, you come in with weight. Let me put this up here for people to read if y'all didn't catch that. This is the perfect description of what you get when you are doing that, because you are taking a risk. When you draft someone, your whole mindset is, I'm banking on the fact that this guy was that good in college that he's going to be that good in the NFL, if not better. Remember, Jamar Chase in preseason and a little bit early on, it was looking like this motherfucker can't catch the ball. He wound up in the Super Bowl because Joe Burrow believed in him. And said, we're not going to let that stop us. So you have to think about it from that perspective. When it comes to, all pros or guys that are proven, you already know what you're getting. You just basically say, you know what, look, man, let me go ahead and invest X amount of money because I feel this is your worth. And the player and their agent has to go ahead and say, okay, we appreciate that. That is the worth right now. Sometimes you unfortunately have to take a deal that's not good for you. Why? Because you just need that bread, man. I tell you this, and I know this for a fact because I did the research. If you remember Antonio Cromartie, when he got his first big deal from the Jets, do you know where his signing bonus went? Child support. The man got cheering. He got cheering. Lots of them. So your signing bonus is automatically gone. So whoever you with is looking, baby, where the signing bonus gone. I had to catch him on that child support, baby. I'll be fucking out here. That's how it was. Terradome says Jimmy G has same initials as Jared Goff. Switch it up now, like the Rams did. Yeah. Rookie, he might hit. He may be 50-50. Yeah, he may make the team, not including injuries. Yeah. And we do have, 9 draft picks. So it all depends on, where we go with these draft picks. I say, honestly, we got to stock up on our cornerback position. We're probably going to need at least one more receiver. We definitely will need to make sure that we shore up, a couple of pieces on the offensive line, give or take, depending on what happens, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if they're keeping Lakin. I know that Daniel Brunskill is a free agent. Jawan Jennings is an exclusive rights free agent, so he isn't really going anywhere. We'll most likely keep him. So there's a variety of things that are going to go on and, throughout the rest of this offseason that will dictate where we go and what we can do. But the number one thing, as I stated, is to get this money off the books, and we got to open it up. So if we can get Dee Ford and Jimmy Garoppolo off the books, that gives us another $30 million. And then we're not so heavy up against the cap. We can take that money and go ahead and turn around and sign Nick Bosa or sign Deebo Samuel. Here's the issue with Deebo Samuel. We don't sign him right now, and he goes out and has another ridiculous wide back season. And look, man, he going to come to us and go, I need you to open your pockets a little bit deep more than that, Jed. Don't come to me with no 15, 16 million. I'm not tight end, motherfucker. I do way too much. I am too versatile. So we can hope and pray that winds up in the situation where, he kind of gives us a little bit of a discount so we're not strapped for cash when we do actually sign him and we put him into the upper echelon of wide receivers as far as money goes. But then again, you can't fault players for going to get their bread. That's one thing I always say. I mean, I understand sometimes it may seem like players are being greedy, but the lifespan of an actual NFL player is extremely short. So while you are there, you want to get every bit of guaranteed money that you can get. The reason everybody likes their guarantees is because that's exactly what it is, a guarantee. I can get all my damn money, and I ain't got to worry about you telling me you're not going to give me my money, whether I'm hurt or whether I this or that, whatever the case may be. And if you're smart, you pay attention to your contract. You understand the stipulations. You know what's in it. At the end of the day, you should never sign anything, especially a contract, without having a lawyer present or someone you trust or someone who understands these contracts and can tell you, this is good, we're fine. This is bullshit, don't sign it. You have to have the proper counsel in your area in life for you to be able to make the right decisions. So when it comes to those contracts, you got to have the right agent. You got to have, the knowledge of things for yourself. Deebo's got to be able to look at that contract and go, man, I don't like this. No, I don't want that incentive. Nope, fix that. Do this, do that. Okay, nope, we got to move this around here. All right, now we're good. You have to know that. If you don't know your own contracts and you are a football player or you are in sports in general, you are you're in the music industry, all of those things. If you don't understand your contracts, you just sign it, you're going to kick yourself square in the ass. I used to work for Chase and do their credit cards. And people would sign up for the credit card and then not know what they signing up for and then call and complain. Pay attention. Read what the fuck you signing. Don't be stupid about it. I literally have had people call me and tell me straight up, oh, well, I didn't think I had to pay this back. It's a loan. What the fuck? So when you're signing your contracts for sports and whatnot, they're paying you. Why? That's your job, to go out there on that field and perform. When you don't perform, that's when they come back and they want to tell you, let's restructure. Why? You're not living up to what the fuck we were paying you as of now. So we don't feel we should keep paying you that much. That's just how things work. The league is a business at the end of the day, period, point blank. There's nothing you can do about it. But what you can do is be smart about it and say to yourself, okay, I'm going to make sure that I get the most lucrative contract that I can so I am good and I can make sure that my family is safe. You know, you learn how to set it up. Make sure you keep your money. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you have to remember when these players are out there on the field sacrificing their bodies to make the money that they make, they still have to be able to understand that they're not getting all of that. You know, it's Antoine Walker was just on I Am Athlete. I watched the I Am Athlete podcast. I love it. What he was saying was he had a 1.6 million signing bonus. He thinking he getting 1.6 million, not understanding there's taxes and everything else involved. So he went out and fucked all the money. That's the number one thing that these young kids must have is the proper counsel. You must have proper counsel in your life in general, but when you are in sports and things of that nature, you want to have those people on your side. So with us, we got to have the proper counsel in our building so we know how to spend our money. Why do you think we have Parag Marate? He's the one working and figuring the numbers. You can give John Lynch all the fucking credit you want. But at the end of the day, if Parag Marate ain't out there shifting the numbers around and moving shit and putting stuff together and putting this together and putting that together and then giving it to John going, okay, let's, and sit down with John and the agent of the player saying, okay, this is what we're offering. Do you like it? Don't you like it? If you don't like it, what do you want? What can we fix? If we can't come to an agreement, then you just will be a free agent, and that's what the fuck it is. At the end of the day, you must remember it's a business. And in business, you have to make hard fucking decisions. Sometimes you want to keep the guys that you want to keep because they're all stars. Sometimes you just don't have the fucking money to do it. So you just have to be able to just roll with the punches. You know what I mean? So when it comes to free agency, we ain't really moved a lot when it comes to this regime. We signed a few dudes. Biggest guy we signed was Richard Sherman. Outside of that, I'd probably say maybe Jason Verrett. And that's only because when Verrett healthy, oh, Jesus Christ, that man is a terrorizer on the field. He will shut you down. And the issue is he's usually not healthy. He gave us that year, and we were like, shit, this motherfucker fully healthy. Love it. What happened? ACL. It happens. Everybody understands injuries happen. We know that. We don't want that to be the case, but it happens. So we have to be prepared for it. So for me, when I'm looking at it, cut Jimmy, cut D Ford. He can, raise your cap space. Instead of having only just about $3 million, you got to do it, man. And there it is. Terradome said it best. Availability is the best ability. So for right now, everything else going on in the league, Russ going to Broncos as long as he approves that trade. Aaron Rodgers staying put. That sets the market back up for Jimmy Garoppolo because from what I hear, the Commanders offered everything they could, but the Seahawks wanted Chase Young, and they were like, well, that's fucking stupid. Like, why are we going to give you Chase Young if you – the fuck? Like, we can't just – we're giving you a haul of draft picks. Take these dudes and just run with it. So Denver gave up what they wanted, and they gave him a couple players. So you get what you want for Russell Wilson. The guy's worth every penny. He's worth every player because he is that great. But now Seattle's in rebuild mode. That's why, like Matt said, Bobby Wagner's cut. So you're basically cutting bait with anybody who previously was on the squad, and now you're saying, you know what, hey man, we got to start over. And you have to because you don't have a choice. That's the worst season they've had since Russell Wilson's been on that team. Any other time, they are perennial playoff contenders consistently just because of the existence of Russell Wilson, let alone with that shitty-ass offensive line. But I digress. So for me, looking ahead and looking forward, I'll come back with more content. We'll talk about some dudes at the combine, talk about a couple people we need to draft. But right now, I'm going to probably just go ahead and get into the cap situations with a few different teams, talk about some things that they've done, ways they've restructured, money they moved around, to see if that's brought them out of the purgatory that they currently exist in. And I'll start that probably tomorrow. Start that with the Saints. We'll go ahead and talk about them. I know my mom will love to tune into that one because she's a Saints fan. Yeah, man, these are all things that are happening in the league. We had a little bit of talk about Trey. We touched a little bit on Jimmy Garoppolo. We touched a little bit on the state of the franchise. We understood, a couple of things as far as money and, movement and stuff like that. So I feel like we had a pretty good podcast right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end that one on that note. I'll be back tomorrow night, most likely. We're going to go ahead and get into the Saints because they have moved some money around. They did do some cap restructuring. So we've got to go ahead and talk about them. Just a little nugget. They don't want to move off Michael Thomas. Why? I don't know, because he does not want to be there. And that is completely beyond me why you won't move the guy and open up the fucking money. It would just make sense. Being honest, Trubisky is more durable than Jimmy G and went to the playoffs with less offensive. But yeah, he did. He did that. But my thing is I don't want Mitch. You know why? Because Mitch was another dude who was hyped like a motherfucker right before the draft, and he didn't do a goddamn thing. I mean, yeah, he was on a couple teams, but I mean, be honest with you, was it really Mitch Trubisky or was it that Bears defense? I always see it as the Bears defense, man. Their defense usually gets them, pretty far. And the Bears, that's one thing for them. They're pretty stout at the defensive spot. Plus, Trubisky didn't really have any mileage put on him because he just sat behind Josh Allen and never saw the field, probably except for preseason. So I get it. A lot of free agents out there. We'll have to see who Trey's backup will be because I know that Nate Sudfeld is a free agent. So we're just kind of taking a look at the cap space and figuring out what we got. We got a little under $3 million, 2.9 and change to be exact. And we've got to figure out what we're doing. I will be glad to go ahead and report when Jimmy Garoppolo is traded and who he's traded to. And believe you me, I'll probably be drinking on this channel. You might see a round table of me, Breezy, Mose, Peachy, Fair, Forever Faithful Podcast, Red and Gold Standard. We probably all going to be on here, man, just having a serious drink. MP says, I hope that we can bear Denver next year when we play them. With Russ at the helm. The issue, to be honest with you, man, that's a good point because the issue is, Russ knows us. He played us for years. He knows what we do. He knows how we move. The only difference is we just have to be smarter. We got to make sure that I think we should be able to take care of Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Be able to lock those dudes down and make sure everything is cool. We don't really have to worry about a run game as long as DJ Jones comes back because I can't count on Javon Kinlaw being healthy. I'm sorry. I like the kid, but he was injury prone when we drafted him. We all knew that shit, and they still picked him up any damn way. This is always how it worked. So we traded DeForest Buckner for a first-round pick and then just used it on Javon Kinlaw, which I don't understand why you traded DeForest Buckner in the first place because he wasn't doing nothing wrong. I know he wanted a certain amount of money, but once again, it goes back to what I said earlier. You got to pay people. You got to pay for the quality. Um, oh yeah, man. Yeah, that would be a serious serious ass simulcast. I've been saying that we should definitely get together and do that. But the one thing I can say about that, and it's not to say that anybody has any issues with anyone else, but the thing is I don't know that because I don't know what people have going for themselves or if they have anything personal with anyone. I'm not stating that issues exist between anybody. Because I like me, I have beef with no one. Hey, bro, I go on everybody podcast. It don't make a difference to me. You could be starting out small. You could be big as hell. I don't care. But we'll see what happens next year when we play Denver. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and shut the show down. I will get back to you guys tomorrow. We'll go ahead and talk about the New Orleans Saints. We'll talk about some of the moves that they've made and some of the things that they've done to be able to help their cap situation and see how much further out of cap purgatory they've dug themselves and what's going to be next for them. Because I tell you right now, another little nugget for you. Alvin Kamara, yeah, they coming for your pockets, bro. NFL can fine you all they want. They can suspend you all they want. They gonna come for your pockets. So you got to stay straight, brother. Can't be out here beating up dudes and stomping them out, man. No, man, you got to leave that shit back wherever you came from. You got to be smarter. I could go on and on about how people got to be smarter and how we as black men have to be, more mindful of the things that we do and more mindful of the way that we react when we're disrespected, but it is what it is. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Stay blessed. Stay safe. And I'm out.